Microsoft had its earnings, and its earnings were blowout. So right before its earnings, though, the company quietly, somewhat, announced a massive new partnership with Adobe and a company called C3.ai. Now, C3.ai is not a household name yet, but Tom Siebel of Siebel Systems is a name that is known in tech for a long time when it comes to software. And he's been sometimes called the godfather of CRM. So he's been around a long time. So the three companies essentially are partnering together to drive this growing customer data platform space. And it's interesting because Adobe and Microsoft both do extensive customer insight work, and there's some significant overlap in their customer data platform. However, this isn't the first time these two companies have partnered together. Adobe and Microsoft also partnered together in ODI, which is the Open Data Initiative. And these companies, I believe, have come to recognize that their capabilities are better together. Well, C3.ai is bringing an interesting new twist, and that's verticalizing the CRM offerings and building CDP and customer relationship management stacks that are AI powered, that are basically focusing 100% on industries. So as opposed to the typical horizontal approach, these are algorithmic and model-based that are pre-built so that companies can deploy a model for financial services, a model for healthcare, a model for manufacturing that uses the best practices of building, these AI algorithms to simplify how customer data insights can be generated and do it somewhat seamlessly with all three companies' data models and sets working congruently. It's a big step. And, I think we've kind of hit this pivotal moment with CRM. Clearly, it's a Salesforce competitive move. This is something that these companies have been working very hard to do, is to continue to push the business away from Salesforce and more towards Microsoft, Adobe, and now C3.ai. I do think, Pat, one thing that this also does really well is taking together enterprise and extraprise, meaning there's this massive volume of data that lives outside of our businesses. And a big part of what these models are doing is incorporating the data from things like social media, things from unstructured data across the web. And so using this partnership, these models are not only using predictive and analytics that are capable of using all the system data that companies have, extra prize. It's also using all the data that lives outside that could be valuable. So say, for instance, a trend in the oil and gas industry that's going on largely may help a company better predict this timeline of when a sale would be complete of capital equipment because of trending net asset values or slowing of fracking or major shifts that are going on are being included into these models. So it's a really interesting disruptive element. And it was, in my eyes, it's encouraging to see these companies that in some ways compete working together to deliver better solutions that are going to help enterprises grow faster and make better business decisions.
Yeah, Daniel, good breakdown. You didn't leave me a whole lot of oxygen in there with it, which is fine. But what I will say is I do think more competition in CRM is good. Salesforce has taken a horizontal approach for a long time, so it makes sense to me that one way to chip away at their lead is to go vertical, and going vertical might take an investment. But if you have that capability, then do that. I think this is good for Microsoft, and I think we've seen with Oracle that going vertical with CX is a very positive move.
Yeah, and sorry for hogging, but guess what? I'm going to give you the floor now because, Pat, we've been long waiting to talk about the Cisco Partner Summit, and you had a little bit more opportunity to spend at the event. So I'm going to let you go all the way on this one. And by the way, feel free to leave me no oxygen. I'll still find something to say.